Welcome everyone to pranayama and chakra chanting, a half-hour class. We'll get going in about 3 or 4 minutes. Feel free to comment. And anyway, a half hour away from whatever you're doing, if you have the time to take that half hour, I would highly encourage it. Anyway, we'll see you real soon. Kiwi, let's put you Well, welcome everyone to pranayama and chakra chanting. My name is Mark Cormier, as you probably know, if you tuned in my page. Anyway, I like to do this class. It's a little different, a lot less movement, and just an illustration that you don't necessarily have big movement. You need to be in a particular place. You can find yoga wherever you are, and many of us tend to be in chairs these days. So I encourage you to find a chair, or in your chair as you are, moving to the edge of the chair. A lot of times we rely on the back of a chair, which is cool. Having said that, if we rely too much on the back of the chair too much of the time, we start to lose some strength in our spine. So I encourage you to come to the edge of the chair, maybe finding the very edge of the chair. And that's a nice ruler for your sits bones. Generally, when we sit, many of us tend to roll to the back of the sits bones as we round the lower back. We're in front of our computers, in front of our phones. I'll encourage you to find the front of the sits bones as we stick, crudely spoken, stick our butts out. And then rolling the butt back in a little bit to find the exact center of the sits bones. From the exact center of the sits bones, sitting up straight and tall, shoulders relaxed. Long through all sides of the neck with a slight tuck of the chin as we start to bring our attention inward. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, a light press of your thumb against your sternum as we line up each finger. And soft eyes if you're comfortable with closing your eyes. And just taking a few breaths to watch your breath as it flows in and out. Arriving here for a yoga quickie half hour. Just taking the time to refocus our attention on ourselves. Now from this place of just observing your breath, I invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by a long, slow exhalation. Now I'm not going to cue a deep, full body breath, depending on where you are, particularly here on the West Coast. Maybe the air's impinged, and I'll invite you to find a breath that works for you. So here, we've got pretty good air here in SF, at least for another couple hours. So you might take that bigger breath just to kind of wash out any of those smoke particles. Hopefully that can be done. I hear the smaller ones tend to get really lodged up in there, so you do want to be careful. And if you're in an area where the air is impinged, still breathing, but taking care not to breathe too much of that smoke in. Working with whatever breath you found, and working with your breath as we move through this practice, whether your breath is deep or shallow, just connecting with our breath and coordinating our movements and our minds to that breath is a way to relax our nervous system. I'll invite you to bring hands onto your thighs. And before we start to move into the more breath-focused exercises and also the chanting, let's do a little bit of movement just to kind of get our fidgets out. So I'll invite you to bring one hand to the chair, other hand finds the outside of the thigh. Let your inhale grow your spine tall, and then finding a twist, either looking forward, off to the side, or over your back shoulder. As we hold the twist, working with your breath, as you breathe in, sitting up a little taller. As you breathe out, finding a little more twist. Now letting an inhale bring you through center. We can bring other hand to other side of chair, other hand finds other thigh. Let that first inhale grow your spine tall. And then finding your twist, finding a drishti or eye focus that works for your body, your breath, your alignment. And again, using the breath to find that alignment. So breathing in, sitting up tall, breathing out, finding a twist. Now letting your next inhale bring you through center. And let's take a side bend each way. As we bring hand to chair, we lift other hand high. We'll rock onto that sits bone away from the high hand, and then keeping the hand where it is, as if we're caught onto an invisible rope. You can't see my hand, but I'm keeping the hand where it is as I slide that far sits bone back down. And then holding for a couple of breaths, just breathing into those ribs, finding a little more space, and that far lateral sideline. Now letting an inhale bring you through center, and we'll find that side bend the other way, grounding down through a hand, other hand high, leaning towards that far sits bone, and then keeping the hand where it is as if we caught onto a rope or a hook, as we slide that sits bone back down, and then holding for a couple of breaths. And then letting an inhale bring you through center. Let's bring palms back on our thighs, and let's pretend our spine is a pencil, our head is the eraser, base of the spine is the tip of the pencil. We're going to rotate that pencil around the point. So it's not a big rotation. We're trying to stay grounded through two sits bones. Physically not a hard exercise, but mentally just keeping that control, that circle super, super small as we connect with our center. One more time, this direction. And then we'll take those pencil point rotations the other way. And your weight will shift between the two sits bones, but minimizing that with concentration, with focus. And let's do one more circle this way. And then back to center. Feel free to do this with me. Ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips, ears, shoulders, hips over our sits bones. Now let's find a little bit of a bigger circle, a little more of a water element, and we're going to pretend our pencil is super bendy and super flexible. It might not even be a pencil, it might be a piece of yarn or a hose, maybe filled with water, as we circle it around. And we'll do 6. 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. Now let's take those hose circles the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we'll come back center. And again, feel free to do this with me. You can do this all day long. Ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips, ears, shoulders, hips, over sits bones as we sit tall, hands on our thighs. From here, let's work with our shoulders a little bit. So I'll invite you to find bird beak hands. 4 fingers find the tip of the thumb. We can bring our bird beaks onto our shoulders. And if that's not happening, you can work the bird beaks a little farther away. We'll lean a little bit forward in our chair without losing neutral spine and just rolling one shoulder front and then the other. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's take those asymmetrical shoulder rotations the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and back to center. From here, keeping the shoulders parked on our ribs, let's work with our neck a little bit as we look up and down. Up and down. Let's do 6, up and down, halfway down. I'll invite you to conceive of a ball in front and a ball behind, and we're rounding up and over the circumference of each ball. And let's do one more. So looking up and holding as we enjoy a nice stretch in the base of the throat, 5th chakra, communication, breathing into that place. And then rounding up and over that ball in front as we stretch out the back of the neck and holding that as we breathe into that place. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown. One more time. Ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips, ears, shoulders, hips, over sits bones as we sit tall. From here, let's work a breathing exercise. So, a little warm here in San Francisco, not too bad, 21, 22 degrees. I'll invite you to find Sitali breath, though, which is a cooling breath. If you can curl the tongue, you'll go for it. About 70% of us can. Some of us, 30% can't. Totally cool. If you can't, you'll just make an O with the lips. If you can curl your tongue, you'll do both. And the idea is we breathe in through our mouth. One of the few yoga breaths where we breathe in through the mouth. That has a cooling effect. And then we'll close the mouth and breathe out through the nose. And let's do 6 of those. So curling the tongue if you can, an O with the mouth as you breathe in. Closing the mouth, breathing out through the nose. Sitali breath in. Closing the mouth, breathing out through the nose. Sitali breath in. Closing the mouth, breathing out through the nose. Halfway down. Sitali breath in. Closing the mouth, breathing out through the nose. Last 2. Breath in. And breath out. Last one. Sitali breath in. And breath out through the nose. So now that we've cooled ourselves off from a place of ultimate coolness, or at least approaching maybe a little bit more cooler than we were before, we can work the alternating nostril breath. It's a way to balance left and right. Traditionally, we'll use the little finger and ring finger to close off the left side. Thumb closes off the right. And you could always skip that particular mudra or hand gesture and just move the index finger from side to side. So start on the moon side this afternoon as in our pursuit of coolness. And we'll close off the right nostril as we breathe in left. Closing left, we'll breathe out right. Breathing in right. Closing right, breathing out left. Breathing in left. Closing left, breathing out right. Breathing in right. Closing right, breathing out left. Breathing in left. Closing left, breathing out right. Breathing in right. Closing right, breathing out left. One more time around, breathing in left. Closing left, breathing out right. Breathing in right. Closing right, breathing out left. And then palms on our thighs for a long, smooth breath in through both nostrils. And a long, smooth breath out through both nostrils. From here, let's do that same exercise. Rather than using the hands to close off the nostrils, I'll invite you to use a directed flaring of the nostrils and a little focus to draw the air in one side or one nostril and send it out the other. And my guess is it's certainly not going to be as effective as using the hand in actually directing the flow of air, but perhaps more effective in focusing our minds. So sitting up straight and tall, again, let's start on the moon side, the left side, in our pursuit of ever greater coolness. Breathing in through the left nostril. Breathing out through the right. Breathing in right. Breathing out left. Breathing in left. Breathing out right. Breathing in right. Breathing out left. Breathing in left. Breathing out right. Breathing in right. Breathing out left. One more time around, breathing in left. Breathing out right. Breathing in right. Breathing out left. And then palms on our thighs for a long, smooth breath in through both nostrils. And a long, smooth breath out through both nostrils. From here, let's release any tension in our wrists a little bit as we bring the wrists in front and just circling our wrists outward. And then circling our breath in, our wrists inward. Just have the breath free and easy. From here, let's bring hands by our sides. We'll bring the thumb inside, and then we'll draw the thumb out. And just back and forth. I'm not going to cue it, but stretching out that place where the thumb connects into the hand. Feels so good, particularly if you're working on your computer or punching at your phone. And then from this place, let's play the piano, whatever song you'd like. Either keeping the torso relatively still or maybe adding a little swing, a little sway from side to side, stretching out a little back. And then back to center. Palms on our thighs. Before we do another breath exercise, let's do one of my favorite exercises to do in my chair at my desk in front of my computer. Is I find this letter W shape with the arms. As I hold this stretch, the elbows come back, the wrists come with. We can wiggle those fingers, just enjoying the stretch. Big breath into your heart, fourth chakra, communication. A little lift of the chin as we open up fifth chakra, communication. And then, hands on down. Let's do one more physical exercise here. So big breath in as we gather up the energy. Then nice and wide with the feet. Let's just take a forward fold. Depending on where your back is, elbows find the thighs, or letting yourself fold inside your legs. Maybe your hands come to the floor. Relax, neck, heavy head. As we take 2 or 3 long, slow breaths into back heart. Now you've found the floor. I invite you to tuck the chin, palms find the thighs. If you're working elbows on thighs, same deal. And we'll push into the thighs to roll ourselves on up. And keeping it loose, I'll invite you just to give it a little shake, a little swing. Sometimes in these concentration exercises, we tend to clench our muscles. So anytime, if you feel that situation happening, just get it loose. Get a little jiggly with it. Yeah. From here, let's work the 3-part breath. Palm on the belly, palm on the heart. There's going to be 3 zones: belly hand, between the hand zone, and heart hand zone. And we'll work the 3-part breath both ways. So breathing into your belly, breathing in between the 2 hands, breathing into heart hand, breathing out from heart hand, breathing out between the 2 hands, breathing out from belly hand. 2 more rounds. Breathing into belly hand, between the 2 hands, heart hand, breathing out heart hand, between the 2 hands, belly hand. One more time. Breathing into belly hand, between the hands, heart hand, breathing out heart hand, between the 2 hands, and belly hand. And then palms on our thighs for a long, smooth breath. Long, smooth breath out. Now moving to one of my favorite activities, which is the chakra chanting. Super hippie, maybe super weird, but it really feels good. It's almost like giving yourself an ultrasound from the inside. And we're just using our voice, using the natural vibrations we can make, almost like a cat purring. Feels good. So we'll trace the chakras up. I'll name each chakra, then we'll trace the chakras down. And by that time, we'll probably be pretty close to 3 o'clock, and we'll do a seated meditation. So starting at root chakra, which is the base of the pelvis, somewhere between those sits bones, somewhere between the pubis and the anus, technically it's the perineum. You might put your mind in that place. I can also call it the pelvic diaphragm. And its seed syllable is LAM. L-A-M, but maybe with a little bit of L-A-H-M, la. Sometimes it's spelled with a U. So sitting up straight and tall, putting your mind in root chakra. Lam, 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 lam. And that's our connection to the earth. Moving up to sacral chakra, somewhere, some people connect it with our sexual organs. I might go a little bit higher. I think those organs actually extend in and up. If you're a woman, you have ovaries. With men, we have other things going on. So you want to kind of find the base where all that starts. So somewhere between the navel and the pubis is where I put it. And easy to remember, it's VAM. I like to think of va 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 voom, which is a little silly. But we get that connection with our sexuality. So it's vam 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 vam. Moving to third chakra, power chakra. I think it's above the navel and probably below the xiphoid process. And there's a lot of muscles involved in respiration, but this is a super important place for respiration to happen. It's also where our digestion is. So we've got oxygenation, we digest food. So this is our powerhouse. In Pilates, we use this area a lot with roll-ups, roll-downs. We get really strong here. And when we're strong here, everything else moves really, really well because it moves from a strong center. And its seed syllable is R, Ram, Ram. So closing the eyes. Ram, 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 Ram. Now moving towards fourth chakra, the heart chakra. It's community, it's love. It's got a cool seed syllable, yum, which I think of as yummy. And we'll sit tall and yum, 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 yum. Moving on up, throat chakra, lots going on here. We have the parathyroid, there's another thyroid, parathyroid, thyroid, and they're both up in here. We've got breath, the windpipe. You've got your tongue that comes down, and somewhere in here. lots of attributes to all these chakras, but its primary attribute would be communication, how we talk. You can feel that. And appropriately enough, it's hum. We hum. So sitting up straight and tall. Hum, 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 hum. And now moving towards sixth chakra. We skip a lot here, our mouth, our nose, and all this. We go right between the eyes and just a little bit above. It's kind of, I always think of a little person in a cave looking out. We conceptualize ourselves as existing right up there. We've got logic, we've got reason. We also have our intuition, how we know stuff even before logic and reason. So that's that sixth chakra. And different schools have different philosophies. One of the lesser known schools has it as and we'll sit up straight and tall. Moving to his crown chakra, our connection to the sky, sometimes described as a 1,000-petaled flower of light. Let me do a time check here. All right, it will go a little quicker down. So in the school I like, its associated sound is Om. You probably heard that in yoga classes. In a more major school, Om is sixth chakra and silence is crown chakra. But I go with this other school a little bit. So this will be the Om. And connecting with crown chakra certainly, but also connecting all the chakras. So I'll invite you to let the Om start really low and we'll work it up the body into head chakra or crown chakra. So, and we'll do 3. Big breath in. One more. And then palms on our thighs. So let's work it back down. And let's do 3 more Oms. So we'll start crown chakra, and then we'll do the Ams, the Hums, the Yams, the Rams, the Vams, and the Lams. So big breath in. Sixth chakra. Fifth chakra, throat chakra. Hum, 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 hum. Fourth chakra, heart chakra. Yum, 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 yum. Third chakra, power chakra. Ram, 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 ram. Second chakra, va, 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 voom. Vam, 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 vam. Root chakra. Lam, 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 lam. And then opening the eyes, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. So let's do one more sound, one of my favorites, the bumblebee chant. The idea is we put our fingers in our ears and we're going to buzz like bees. It feels really good. It's very calming. If you do put your fingers in your ears, maybe not too tight so you can still hear me and I'll cue you out. If it's too tight and you can't hear me, you just want to keep buzzing like a bee. Awesome. What I have to say is not that important. Anyway, fingers find the ears. Big breath in. fingers out of ears. That one always makes my lips tingle a little bit, which I think is a good thing, a little ticklish. Anyway, let's end our practice with a 2-minute seated meditation, and then I'll ring some yoga bells and cue you out of it and give a blessing. So hands on our thighs, sitting up straight and tall, either keeping the eyes soft or closing the eyes. And we'll sit for a couple of minutes, just watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. Any thoughts that enter into your mind, observing them like you might watch clouds in the sky. You all stay just as you are. I'm going to ring these bells 3 times. Now, if you closed your eyes, I'll invite you to open your eyes. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, a light press of your thumb against your sternum as we line up each finger. Relax shoulders long through all sides of the neck as we tuck the chin ever so slightly. You might think of that ball. So you're not shortening, you're rounding up and over that ball. I'll invite you to come back to that place of just watching your breath as it flows in and out. We were just there. From this place, I'll invite you to bring 5 fingers to the side of the chair. Other hand of the palm faces up to the sky as we connect to the earth and we connect to the sky. Keeping the chin tucked, keeping that awareness of watching your breath as it flows in and out. From this place of vibrant awareness, I invite you to bring your hands back to your heart and bow as you thank yourselves for practicing yoga. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world, the light within me honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste. Thank you all for practicing with me this afternoon. And I picked up some live classes, so there's less stuff online, but I'm still very excited about practicing online and details to come. So keep up with my Facebook page. And have a nice day. Namaste, if I can maneuver this mouse to where it needs to go. There it is. Namaste.